Back again, and for our next guest, it's a very, very interesting lady. I think you've seen her once before. She's Deborah Pepin. She's the president of the Alliance of California Artists, but today she's here to talk her own wonderful art. Welcome.
Thank you for
Debbie.
having me.
So glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then you're gonna give something of your own today, right?
I am. I'm going to talk about myself, as all artists love to do.
Go to it, girl.
Well, I'm an alcohol ink artist. A lot of people don't know what that is, and it's based on you use an ink that's an alcohol base, but it has a resistant property to it. So when you put it on the slick paper, it resists itself. So you don't use a brush. You manipulate the paper. And you depend on drying time and ambient temperature. And you have to trust the process because it really takes on a life of its own. So the painting kind of tells you what it wants to be as you manipulate it and get it to go. So it's a fun process. It can be frustrating, but it's fun. And you just have to really trust in the process. So.
Well, do you teach anyone else this?
I have not. I'm going to be doing my first workshop in June, and if anybody's interested, they can send me an email. My email will come up and you can see it. So I'm going to be teaching a workshop, and I'm excited about that. It's my first one, and for this particular art, and I think people are really going to take a lot from it and enjoy it.
Wow,
It's
I think that's
fun.
really, I may be there myself.
Oh,
That's
good.
That really sounds interesting. It's nice to find a new medium.
It
That
is.
you can try different things with, you know. I'm afraid I'm a little stiff. I don't go to things like that. Oh, I'm afraid of it.
Well, you know, a lot of people are because you have to trust in the process. You can't, there's no control over it. And that's the thing that to me is the surprise and the beauty of it, is because you don't have that control like you would an oil paint or a pastel.
Wow.
You kind of have to trust the process. It's also poured on a paper that is 100% plastic. So you're using what's called UPO paper, and it's 100% polypropylene. Excuse me, I got hair in my eye. And so it has no the properties. It absolutely sits on the paper, so it floats until it dries. So
I never heard that. I've got to see you do that. I can't believe that.
yeah, well, hopefully some of the pieces will come up and you'll be able to see them.
Oh, yes, yes.
But yeah, it's a fun process, and love to do it, and would love to have some more people come to the workshop.
Great. Now, are you doing any of the shows now, or what are you doing mainly?
Right now, I started my process with pastels, so I'm working on pastels. It's a lovely art, and
I love it.
not showing many pieces yet because I'm just beginning my journey with the pastels. But I also do doodle art, and a lot of people go, "What's doodle art?" It's just that. It's random pieces and things put together, and I've started a series that someday I hope to be able to hang someplace where children are, and I call them my zoodles. And it's animals that are painted with bright colors and happy faces, and then they're doodled. So yeah, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very creative process. It uses many different mediums mixed in together, inks and predominantly watercolor and black ink and sometimes acrylics. But there's a piece up now. It's another one. And like I said, these are all brightly colored, fun to look at.
That's
Children
adorable.
love them. Thank you. Sometimes I even put on little crystals or rhinestones on the collars. Yeah, so I do all the different kinds of things. I use different mediums, and I really have a lot of fun with them. Also do some adult ones. This one right here that's up now was a doodle that was all done in, it fluoresces under black light. So if you turn out the lights and turn on a black light, you see the unusual shapes and things in there. So it's very different. So that's kind of that kind of strange part of that artist's brain that kind of comes out. You know what I'm talking about, being an artist. That
It's fantastic.
you have that part. There's some alcohol inks coming up now. That particular one is done on silk. That's a silk scarf.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and here's another one that's done. Now remember, this is all on plastic paper. So it's all about manipulation and movement and resist.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's a fun, like I said, it's a real fun medium.
Look at that.
Thank you. It's
Wow. They're beautiful.
Thank you. They are really very creative. A lot of people don't embrace them yet because they're kind of a different process, but I love them because it is so different. So, no brushwork whatsoever in there. It's all manipulation.
How do you get the moon in there?
That's a secret. I can never tell
Oh, you
all
can't
my
tell.
secrets.
Oh, sorry.
Can't tell all my secrets.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So, did you bring any of your other art, like pastels or anything like that?
I did not. Like I said, I'm not showing too many of my pastels. I've only been doing pastels since about December.
Mm-hmm.
I showed my first piece in the ACA, spring member show, and it's a good solid piece. It did not place, but that's okay. It's a good solid piece, and I was happy with it. So I have some work to do in that area. So I'm working on it.
What was your subject matter for that?
It was a beaver pond over on the western side of the Sierras. So it was the fall colors, and it was reflective properties with the fall colors. And it was a fun piece to do. Like I said, I'm still on my learning curve with that. So,
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
I think you mentioned one other thing besides pastels that you use a lot.
well, I do watercolor as well.
watercolors.
Some acrylics, pen and ink.
I
do pen and inks.
I'm too cowardly to try watercolor, but I have gotten back to oil, so
That's awesome.
enjoying
Yeah,
that.
I like oils too, but I'm not in that arena at all. I have too many other things going, so we'll just stay out of the oils.
So, is there anything else you can tell us about this way that you're working? Or
Well, just one other thing, I'm going to also do a one day, about a 5-hour workshop on the doodles in August through the Art Hub. So if you're interested, get a hold of Diane over there, or you can contact me as well. And I'm going to do an afternoon of wine and doodles. So we're going to relax and have some fun.
But when I saw them, I said, that woman that does all these cats? She's very famous for putting cats
The
on
Laurel
everything.
Birch. I think you're talking about Laurel Birch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I saw those, I said, those ought to be in a book or in something, even bookmarks, all sorts of things. It should really, you could build up a business really
Yeah.
bringing some money in for those.
Yeah, well,
doodles.
thank you. I do also know that coloring books right now are huge. I don't know if you've seen some of them, but Michael's and some of the other art stores are selling these coloring books like hotcakes for adults. And they're very popular right now. When I was taking a class at the Senior Center in Clovis, we put together a coloring book. And it's becoming real popular. A lot of people are doing them. So.
Oh, that's far out.
Yeah, yeah, it's different.
I know that I had, when I was doing costuming, I had tons and tons of these coloring books with costumes and things in, and I said, that would be a good thing to give kids to just paint and watercolor them or whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah. But it's not children anymore. The adults are loving these coloring books.
Well, are those the ones where you can do this little tiny work? And
The work is just phenomenal.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's good for people who don't think they can do art or they don't think they can draw a straight line, which is very hard to do. But for them to get in and be creative and get all these colors. I've seen some of them that were just really beautiful.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Plus, it kind of gives your mind a rest. You can kind of lose yourself in the colors and the design.
That's
And I often tell people art is zen for the mind. You can just lose yourself in your art and forget about the world.
So are you able to stay at home and do art?
I am. I have a small studio in my home, and so I can create anytime the bug hits me. So
Great.
I'm a very fortunate person in that respect. So yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
When I married my husband, we had a nice living room. Now it's an art gallery. You dumped the furniture and brought in the art.
That's okay. That's okay. It would work for me.
Your husband doesn't do any art then? Or what?
No, I'm afraid he doesn't have a creative bone in his body. So.
That sounds like no, I can't say my husband. He's a wonderful artist.
Oh, my husband doesn't. Yeah, he can draw a stick person, but that's about it.
Okay, so let them hear you say the email where they can get in touch with you about the workshop, even though it was on the,
Okay, they can email me at Pepin61, which is Pepin 61 at msn.com, and just let me know, and I can get you a seat in that workshop. I think there's room left.
and I
So-
think you can, probably they can get in touch with the Art Hub. to
At the Art
find
Hub
out
as well,
about you.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you
Well,
so
thank you
much.
for
This has been
having me.
great. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
having you, and I enjoyed seeing that really interesting art.
Thank you so much, Carol.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll be right back.